Hey guys, what's up? It's JT here with another video. In this video, we're going to be going over a beginner stoner guide, episode 4. We're flying right through these episodes. The last time I did an episode was probably like 2 weeks ago. I took a few days off, so I really wanted to do another episode since I haven't really done one in a while. So, without any further ado, let's dive right into this episode. Sorry. So, the first, what we're going to be going over is how to tell your parents you smoke weed. And this is a pretty touchy subject with a lot of people, and how they should approach telling their parents. And personally, for me, I never had this experience. I got caught and then I had to explain myself, so it's kind of a little bit of a more anxious way to go about it. I mean, I was put in a position where I had to kind of explain myself, which is a little more difficult than to kind of tell them, because you're already nervous about getting caught. So I don't know better than anyone, but I do have some experience in this sector for sure, as most long-term pot smokers do. So without any further ado, let's just dive right in this one. So the first thing that I would recommend, and this is not something that I did. I mean, I did later on when I was explaining to myself. A lot of these tips I did do as I was explaining to myself, but for the most part, obviously, I just had to explain myself, so I didn't go to them. They had to go to me. So let's start with it. So pretty much take a factual approach, and it's not very difficult to do with weed or cannabis or marijuana. It's not very difficult to take a factual approach in the fact that this stuff is probably next to harmless, okay? Even on the street, even though you don't know what you're getting, I guarantee almost 100% of the time, it's always weed. I mean, a dealer gets nothing to put extra things in weed. He doesn't get anything. He doesn't gain by giving you fake weed. He doesn't. So the only time he would gain is if you're buying, like you're a sixth grader and it's some high school guy and he's selling you some oregano, but he wouldn't be a dealer in that case. So I mean, that's a whole other subject in trying to find your dealer. But the point being is, it wouldn't be very difficult to tell your parents, hey, listen, it's not very common. In fact, it's extremely rare that you would ever get fake weed. You want to take a factual approach, and that's just a little example there, because that's probably a big concern from them. Like, if you're getting this off the street, you might get something that you don't want to get, and you could be harmed. So that's a very good counter argument for the parent. Would probably say something like that, and that's something that happened to me. My parents were always saying like, you could be getting fake stuff, and we don't want to see you in the hospital, over this stuff. So that's kind of a very important thing to do, is kind of explain yourself in the sense that, hey, listen, this stuff isn't nearly as bad, and there's so much stuff you can find online. I mean, there is so many pro, marijuana websites and pro, just fact websites, not even just pro, but just factual websites that will tell you the truth about weed and marijuana. Not that there's too much untruth these days. I mean, I think it's pretty much highly regarded, even with, staunch Republicans and conservatives. Pretty much everyone will agree the fact that marijuana is not a harmful substance to the body. Now, for a teen, it could be. I mean, for a teen, it will definitely stunt puberty growth and brain development for a little while. But for the most part, you're gonna be fine. You're not gonna die. That's a big thing. So that's another thing you're gonna want to do. So you want to take a factual approach. That's pretty much tip number one. You want to take a very factual approach when you do this. Okay. So like I said, just research some things. I mean, it was a lot harder for me when I had to explain to my mom that I dipped. Okay, it's tobacco, so it's a lot harder for me. So if I can do it with dip, you guys can definitely do it with marijuana. So number two, okay, you want to go to a parent that's a little more liberal than another one. And when I'm not ideology-wise and not political-wise, but just a liberal parent in the sense that you want to find a parent that is more chill with the kind of the idea of smoking marijuana. So you want to go with a parent that, whether it be your mom or your dad, for my case it was my mom, that I went to go approach, and I told her the facts, and I did all these tips I'm going to tell you guys. And yeah, so I mean, you want to choose a parent, and you choose wisely about the parent you choose. And if they're both about the same, then yeah. And if it seems better for you, I mean, this is case-by-case stuff. So if it seems better for you and makes more sense for you to go talk to them both at the same time, that might be it. But I guarantee you, one parent will definitely just loathe in the fact that you're choosing them over another parent. Okay, they're gonna like that. So if you go to a parent, you just sit them down and you say, hey, listen, this is the deal. I do this and this, right? They're gonna be a lot more comfortable than if they just found it on their own. So that's tip number 2 there. Okay. And tip number 3 is pretty much, you want to tell them how it hasn't affected your life, how you're not dependent on it, how it hasn't affected your life in a negative way. And you shouldn't lie about this, okay? If it has affected your life in a negative way, you probably shouldn't be smoking, okay? That's just a fact right there. And that's something I'm going to tell you kids out there, teens or whatever, or whoever's watching. If it's affecting your life in a negative way, don't do it. It's that simple. You know, if it's affecting your life in a kind of just a hobby way and it's not really affecting at all, or it's affecting you in a good way, right? Then, you know, toke on, my man. But for the most part, if it's affecting you in a negative way, you shouldn't be doing it, which goes on to this tip, which is saying you want to tell your parents, hey, listen, this isn't affecting me in a negative way. I've been smoking for however long, and, you know, for this time, it hasn't affected me. It's been good on me. It hasn't been that problem. It helps me with anxiety, etc. Whatever. You guys, you know better than I do about your current situation than I do. So you kind of want to throw in your stuff there. But here's some templates, is what I'm giving you guys. But, you know, that's pretty much how you want to go about for that, okay? You know, which brings me to my next tip. Do some good, okay? If you're kind of a troublesome teen, you know, you get in trouble with the cops a lot, you know, minor trouble. Hopefully you're not getting arrested out there, but you're getting into minor trouble, you know, you have bad grades, whatever. Go on a streak in which you're doing good, okay? You get better grades in school, take up a hobby, do something that they enjoy, and do that for a little while. And as you're doing this stuff, then go approach him. Because then they'll see, hey, listen, he's been doing this for a little while. He's also been being very well. You know, this is just all going to play into the fact, and it's going to play into the emotion how they are, okay? Now, I mean, let's talk about in the counterverse, okay? So the counterverse would be, you know, what happens if you were just failing in school, whatever, right? And then you tell me to smoke weed. Well, in that case, now they're gonna be like, well, you're failing in school, you did this, this, and this, and now you're smoking weed. So you put two and two together, and you get, because you're smoking weed, you're doing this, right? Whether that's true or not is totally up to you. But it's a really important argument, because you got to be prepared for the counter arguments, and you have to be able to counter those counter arguments, okay? If that makes sense. So you want to be able to do that, and that's kind of the whole key with telling your parents. You want to be able to kind of anticipate what they're gonna tell you, because you know your parents better than I do. You want to anticipate what they're gonna say to you, etc., and how you're going to go back to them, okay? Which leads me to my last tip, which is tip number 5, and that's pretty much telling your parents face to face, okay? I have had countless friends, okay, tell their parents through text or call them or kind of just hint it. Don't do that, guys. Just sit them down and don't be a pussy about it, okay? Sit them down and be like, hey, listen, I need to have a conversation with you guys, or with you, whatever, with your mom or dad, and this is what's going on in my life, okay? I'm smoking weed, whatever, okay? You want to be confident, okay? You want to be confident in the fact that the decision you made to smoke weed, or whatever the reason may be, was a good decision, okay? That's what you want to do, okay? And so to top this whole thing off, okay, you really want to find out the fact whether the choice of smoking marijuana before you even tell them was a good idea, okay? And that's something only you can answer for yourself. So if you think that your marijuana usage in the past, however long it's been, has a positive effect on you, then this is how you want to go about it, okay? If it has a negative effect on you, don't smoke. Don't do it. Don't do it to just be cool. You know, you should be doing this because you're passionate about your hobby, right? Because it's not a lifestyle, okay? It's a hobby, right? You're passionate about this little hobby, but you token on, whatever. And yeah, you know, and another thing too, I mean, this is something I use, and this is a little extra right here, is my dad smoked cigars, for example, and that's just what he did. So what I used to do with my mom would be like, well, you know, my dad's smoking cigars over there, well, I'm just smoking weed, you know, what's gonna kill me first? Who's gonna die, you know, first? Not age-wise, of course, but whatever, you know. So that's the little thing I did, but it really just depends on you guys, and it really depends how you execute these tips. I really hope this guy's helped you. You know, if it did, leave it down in the comments below. If you thought I dropped something or I missed something, let me know down in the comments below. I respond to almost every comment that I get, since we are a close, tight family right now. So I appreciate the support I've gotten so far. And yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Ready to pop, drop top, fuck cops, and I'm never gonna stop. Cop drop in my mouth, cause I'm sick with the shit that I spit out the lip, ripping dip with the clip. The whole team gotta hit real quick.